We're not talking about religion, because principles deal with meaning and truth. Some people tend to associate what we're saying about principles with their own positive or negative experience with religious organization or theology. As we teach in different parts of the world, we've had people express appreciation for our renewal of the Christian ethic, or for reminding us of the teachings of Buddha, or for giving them messages that are so very close to Indian philosophy. On the other hand, a few do a double take when they hear what we teach because they feel it smacks of religion, and to them the term religion has institutional overtones that are not necessarily positive. At the other end of the spectrum, there are some who wonder if what we teach about principle-centeredness is humanistic and appears to leave out God altogether. What we're talking about is not religion. We're not dealing with issues such as salvation, life after death, or even the source of these principles. We do believe these are important issues for each individual to address, but these issues are beyond the scope of this book. We're not dealing with why true north exists, where it came from, or how it came to be. We're simply dealing with the fact that it's there and that it governs the quality of our lives. And while we do find evidence of these principles in the sacred writings of every major religion, facets of them have come from the minds, pens, and spoken words of philosophers, scientists, kings, peasants, and saints throughout the world and throughout history. These principles are sometimes called by different names as they get translated through different value systems. As Emerson said of the principle of benevolence, for all things proceed out of this same spirit, which is differently named love, justice, temperance in its different applications, just as the ocean receives different names on the several shores which it washes. The fundamental principles are there and recognized through sometimes by different names in all major civilizations throughout time. So we're not talking about values, practices, or religion. What we are talking about are the true north realities upon which quality of life is based. These principles deal with things that in the long run will create happiness and quality of life results. They include principles such as service and reciprocity. They deal with the processes of growth and change. They include the laws that govern effective fulfillment of basic human needs and capacities. In the chapters that follow, we will present many principles that are essential to cultivating a quality life, but our overall objective is not to be comprehensive. It is rather to affirm the effectiveness of an approach to life that is based on the continual search for and effort to live congruently with these timeless, empowering truths. What principles are the law of the farm? One of the best ways to understand how these extrinsic realities govern is to consider the law of the farm. In agriculture, we can easily see and agree that natural laws and principles govern the work and determine the harvest. But in social and corporate cultures, we somehow think we can dismiss natural processes, cheat the system, and still win the day. And there's a great deal of evidence that seems to support that belief. For example, did you ever cram in school, goof off during the semester, then spend all night before the big test trying to cram a semester's worth of learning into your head? Stephen, I am ashamed to admit it, but I crammed my way through undergrad graduate school thinking I was really clever. I learned to search out the system to figure out what the teacher wanted. How does she grade? Mostly on lectures? Great. I don't have to worry about reading the next book. What about this other class? We have to read the book? Okay, where are the cliff notes so I can get a quick summary instead? I wanted the grade, but I didn't want it to cramp my lifestyle. Then I got into graduate work, a different league altogether. I spent my first 3 months trying to cram to make up for 4 years of undergraduate cramming, and I wound up in the hospital with ulcerated colitis. I was trying to force natural processes, and I found out that long term you simply can't do it. I spent years trying to compensate for the foolishness of getting myself into a value system that was not tied to principles at all. Can you imagine cramming off the farm? Can you imagine forgetting to plant in the spring, flaking out all summer, and hitting it hard in the fall, ripping the soil up, throwing in the seeds, watering, cultivating, and expecting to get a bountiful harvest overnight? Cramming doesn't work in a natural system like a farm. That's a fundamental difference between a social and a natural system. A social system is based on values, a natural system is based on principles. In the short term, cramming may appear to work in a social system. You can go for the quick fixes and techniques with apparent success. But in the long run, the law of the farm governs in all arenas of life. How many of us wish now we hadn't crammed in school? We got the degree, but we didn't get the education. We eventually find out there's a difference between succeeding in the social system of school and succeeding in the development of the mind, the ability to think analytically, creatively at deep levels of abstraction, the ability to communicate orally and in writing, to cross borders, to rise above outmoded principles and solve problems in never better ways. What about character? Can you cram and suddenly become a person of integrity, courage, or compassion, or physical health? Can you overcome years of a potato chip, chocolate cake, no exercise lifestyle by spending the night before the marathon working out and the health spa? What about a marriage? Whether it's governed by the law of the school or the law of the farm depends on how long you want it to last. Many people who marry don't want to change their lifestyle at all. They're married singles. They don't take the time to nurture seeds of shared vision, selflessness, caring, tenderness, and consideration, yet they're surprised at the harvest of wits. The social system, quick fixes, and personality ethic techniques they try to install to solve the problem simply don't work. These solutions can take the place of seasons of planting, cultivating, and caring. What about relationships with children? We can take the shortcuts where bigger, smarter, we have the authority. We can talk down, threaten, impose our will. We can try to shift the responsibility for training them to schools, churches, or daycare centers. But over time, will these shortcuts develop responsible, caring, and wise adults empowered to make effective decisions and live happy lives? Will they result in rich, rewarding relationships for us with those who have the potential to be our closest friends? In the short run, we may be able to go for the quick fix with apparent success. We can make impressions, we can put on the charm. We can learn manipulative techniques, what lever to pull, what button to push to get the desired reaction. But long term, the law of the farm governs in all areas of life, and there's no way to fake the harvest, as Sidney Bremer observed in his book Spirit of Apollo. Nature is evenly balanced. We cannot disturb her equilibrium, for we know that law of cause and effect is the unerring and inexorable law of nature, but we do fail to find our own equilibrium as nations and as individuals because we have not yet learned that the same law works as inexorably in human life and in society as in nature, that what we sow we must inevitably reap.